Stage Shift, and before this one, you heard Truth by Canute Neil Ellis featuring Brian Willis. This is Love 101 FM, the family station. We're standing by for a live highlights.
Use Multilink, Jamaica's largest debit card network, and roll with control of your money. Fast, secure, everywhere. The time by Multilink is
3:01 on the family station, Love 101. It's time for a live highlights. Now, children of God. We are live on Facebook and we're also live on YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Sign on, rock on, roll on, jump on. Whatever you gotta do, just ensure that you are on. Now, today inside our live highlights, we hear the journey of Grammy-nominated audio engineer, technical director, and songwriter Canute Neil Ellis. Hey, good afternoon to you, Canute. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
I am good. Oh, I love your background.
Oh, thank you.
You're outside. It's nice and sunny.
Yes, it's nice and sunny and nice weather.
Yes, yeah. Where are you, if you don't mind to be asking?
I am somewhere in the U.S.
Somewhere in the U.S.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
USA.
No, Canute. There's this song that I usually play every single Tuesday. My listeners can attest to that. I play Out of Time.
It's you. Okay. So I would get these messages from time to time. Oh, I'm hearing Out of Time on the radio and Love One. I was like, okay. I'm trying to pinpoint who, and they'll be like, oh, it's around this time.
Yes.
Every
Tuesday.
You religiously play it. So,
yes.
Wow, thank you so much.
You are welcome. And I absolutely love it. We're going to talk about that one and
Yes.
a musical journey and audio engineer, technical director, and whole heap of things in just a moment. But before we get into the meat of the matter, who is Canute Neil Ellis? What were you like growing up?
Wow. So I knew this question was coming, right? And so the other night I got this epiphany of answering this question. I was like, well, I am me. I'm uniquely me, except the transformation of me has evolved so much that I am just this kid that started out wanting much more for myself and much more for people around me. So who am I? I am just this fun-loving youth where always trying to figure things out and figure out why things are the way they are. Constantly existential questions and just constantly seeing how I could just kick the ball down the field, how I can evolve. I grew up as an only child for about 12 years. And so you can't say me did spoil.
Oh, hear the button coming on. No. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so my sister was my first companion. So she came along, and so she's my best friend. And so I would have been the kid that would have like building blocks and, puzzle pieces and things. It's like things are always that challenge your brain and thing. And so that would have played a role in me being a technical director, having to put things together. That would have played a role, light bulb moment when I found out what my name really means, Canute, which means not bringing things together, coming from Scandinavia, coming from King Canute and all of that. So so unpacking all of that, right? And so I'd have been lover of sports, just lover of music, fell in love with music at an early age, probably like around age 8. My father was avid music listener, used to collect vinyl. And so I would sit on the floor reading vinyl credits. And then
Wait. At what age?
Around 8, 9, 10. I remember 10 at age 10, maybe 9.5. So I was going to school by myself, taking the bus like probably around age 8.5, 9 there out.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to steal when I got home, either before my parents, I would used to go and play records, the vinyls. And then me the thing said me did was this jocks I started scratching and I break my father needle, so I had to use my lunch money, my allowance for buying back
Okay.
needle and thing. And then I started buying my own records. And
Okay.
so that would have been my growing up.
Beautiful, beautiful. Which parish are you from?
I'm from the parish of St. Mary.
Saint
So we are
Mary.
country youth, yeah.
All right, all right. Now, growing up, I know you had some fixing and putting things together in you, but what did you want to be when you were growing up?
I didn't know. I didn't know. I was this kid, um, adolescent, teenager, young adult, don't know where, me never fit in. I was a consummate misfit. Was a part of the family business, and then my parents kind of took stock and said, "You have to figure out what you want to do for you."
Yeah.
And I was stuck. I was like, I don't know. And turns out, every summer my parents would send me either to learn a trade or to do, to either volunteer or to work in a certain sector. And so I remember one year I worked in like AC and refrigerating. One time I went to carpentry. It's like basically find different things for do and thing and stuff. And I was good at all of those things. Could be learning and stuff, but nothing really like tug on me and stuff. And so, long story short, summer comes around and my mom said, "You have to find something to do. What is it you're going to do?" And I saw an ad on the television of CPTC, Creative Production Training Center. Um, they were showing about an audio course that was coming on online.
Yeah.
Not online web, because that never did, but at their thing. Um, and it was gonna start, and my mom was coming around the corner, and I was like watching the TV, and I was like, I want to do that, because I saw the equipment in the background, and I saw
Yes.
the vinyls, I saw the recording studio, and I was like, yes.
Got
And
your
so I
interest. Yeah.
signed up and I did it, and here I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. No, I want to know because you're not only an audio engineer, you're also a technical director and songwriter. You sing as
Yes.
well. You sing as well.
Yeah, but no, I sing on some of my records like background or out a demo. Um, so like with Outer Time, if you're using that out a demo, like what I'd want, or I'd be singing along, and that also helped me producing to kind of get the results that you'd have here on all four of my solo albums.
Listen, listen. Out of time, it's not normal. It tells a story. It's like
Yeah.
you want a music video. By the way, can we
Yeah.
get a music video for that one? Out of time.
So, out of time, and God is so amazing. First of all, I jumped right into telling you all about myself without giving you all the greetings. Thank you so much for having me on your
Oh,
program. I
what?
really appreciate it. I can't say I'm a big fan, but I've heard of your program, like I said, and I'm so excited to always meet new people and to always share the story. This story is so unique and amazing to me because before Out of Time, 10 years prior to that, I had the idea for Out of Time, but nobody wanted to take the challenge. Everybody was kind of like, and so shout out to Jadat, Giovanni Williams, for taking that challenge, so to speak, to say, yeah, let's do it. And so basically, so out of pursued my career now as an audio engineer, fast forward to all my former years of who I worked with and how I branched out and all that stuff. But I always enjoyed hearing sound effects and collecting sound effects. And so I've always been interested in Foley mixing or ADR, voiceover for movies and things like that. So I always had a collection of samples and sounds and always wanted to put that in my music. And so I always wanted to put this collective storytelling with things happening auditory, and just to kind of showcase my editing skills. And so this was just like the perfect storm for J-Dot and I to collaborate. We were doing stuff from before when we were ramping up to do that. And so Out of Time really tells the story of just people when you see them trying to tell them about the gospel and they're always like, I'm not ready, or I'm not ready yet, y'all come at church, yeah, I'm not ready yet, I have time. And the story of, oh, tomorrow may be too late and stuff. And so we wanted to put that in our own vernacular and to really make it so hit close to home. And dare I say, I think we hit the mark with that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. A profound message in that song as well. No, we're going to do it. Dissect all of these things that you do now. I hope I have some time to do this because you do a lot. You are indeed multifaceted. But let's start with songwriting. When you are writing your songs, what's the thought process that goes into your songwriting?
So you just said something, and I've never had this moment ever in life, and so you just struck a gold mine. You said multifaceted and just all these other things that you'd list as, what would come in a bio, so to speak. But this is a kid that never know what he wanted to do and wasn't really good at anything.
Yeah.
And so God would have made it know that I'm half good at one thing and then transform into something else, and so all of that. And so now people would see, oh yeah, it's so much. It's like I was never good at anything, I was a misfit. And so when you coupled an audio engineer turned to a producer, turned to an arranger or a songwriter, turned to a production director or a technical director, they all intertwine. And so for me, songwriting, I never sat and said, oh, I would be a songwriter and write. I would come up with concepts and then give people ideas to run with it. I like to be around like-minded people and people that would have the moxie go to that distance for say certain things, people like St. Matthew or, Zila Mac or, just so many others that I've worked with. But just to give them that platform, like, hey, what if we had a song about X, Y, or Z? And most times in most of the songs, I would either have a punchline, a hook, a chorus, or a phrase. But in most often than not, it's always a concept. Let's write a song about this. And that's where some people now they would look and they say, well, you're not a songwriter. Hello. It kind of, let me come in closer, it kind of starts with the conceptualizer. And so if I was the one that would say, hey, we should have a song that talks about these issues that's going on with people not wanting to hear the gospel, I am just as a songwriter as Giovanni would be to to give him the wiggle room or the wherewithal to pen these things and coordinate how these things are laid out in such. And so a lot of people I've seen it, and it's a little touchy subject because people are like, oh, you never write the song. Oh, what you mean? And yeah, we wrote the song together.
Yeah.
We sat and on a blank piece of paper I wrote, this is what it needs to be, this is what we're gonna do. And so I kind of take that approach. And then with other songs that I would have had like the melody, or I've had like a line or something, or a line pops out and we like starting there going on the trail. And so that's how kind of like a workflow. So that's kind of like, I'll just give you like the gumbo of how I do songwriting and how that's been for me.
Oh, beautiful. Let me just take a little intermission break right here. I have to do the time signal. We'll be right back in just a moment. If you're just joining us, you are inside a live highlights. I am talking with Canute Neil Ellis, my guest for today, Canute Neil Ellis. This is Love 101 FM, the family station.
Financial Services Commission, promoting integrity in the Jamaican financial sector. The time by the Financial Services Commission is
3:15. And we are back. So, children of God, remember that we're live on Facebook and we're also live on YouTube. I am talking with the man himself, Canute Neil Ellis, every Tuesday. You know, when I'm about to leave, you hear me playing all the time. Yes, man, so you can identify with him by that song. They always, lots of comments I get. Sir, what's the name of this song? Who's the artist?
Yeah.
Always get that. So
Yeah.
you have your time, your chance now to come on
Yeah.
and you can talk. And we're talking about his journey. Now, Canute, I know that you mentioned that, growing up, you didn't really know what you wanted to do, what you wanted to be. But when exactly did you know that, this is it? This is it. This is what I'm called to do.
Scram it, man. So I now go to my first class at CPTC, right?
Yes.
And so we're doing it. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what this is. And it's a bunch of, age group of like myself. And so we're there. And so the first class is like, wow. And then turns out now, I got to stay back after class, or I don't know if I got to, or I was so inquisitive. So come
Yeah.
back to this kid that always wanted to know how things
Yes,
work.
man. So you wanted to.
Yeah, and so and so I'm there after class, and so now the teacher, Mr. George, I forget what's his last name. He passed several years ago. But he would have now started to share much more outside of the class, and then offered that we could stay back, and I was the one of the we, and so I'd stay back. So I finished the course. Whatever it was, intermediate, or what, entry level or whatever, and then there was another one, and so I was like invited us to come back. I signed up for that, and then there was a job placement. So pretty much to answer your question straight on, from the first class and staying back after, I was like, wow, this is kind of, and then it just gradually built into that. And so after those two courses, then it would have been, hey, job placement, we could kind of like get you into studio, you could kind of be an intern, and that kind of a thing. And so I never got placed because of a lot of things. But fast forward to that, years would go by. Now I'm not doing this thing, and so I'm back in the family business, and there's this void. So if there is ever a tug, it was then that was like, I really miss this thing. Like I'm good
Yeah.
at it, because now you get to create music, you get to shape sound. It's not just now I'm the end user. Before, playing vinyls, now I get to be a part of that. And though that wasn't explained explicitly, that was what was popping off in my head. And so I got an opportunity again now to be the resident engineer at a studio. And that's when I go, wow. So I'm sitting in the state of the art studio, and I'm the only one there. It's so quiet, I could hear my heartbeat. And that's when I realized this is what I'm going to do. And so I did everything in my power to make sure I showed up, and to make sure I learned all that I could, and make sure I applied myself.
Awesome. And might I add that you're also Grammy-nominated audio engineer. Now tell us about that journey, because that's a big deal,
Yes,
Big
ma'am.
deal. So
Yes.
tell us about that journey.
So that journey would come now several years in, and several years in audio production, several years in audio engineering, and owning on my craft. And one of my mentors that I started out at that first studio, Chris Daly, started to really, I mean, Chris, I hope he's listening, because like it was this tough love to the point where I was secretly hate this man, because he was so hard on me. But in later years, I was like, why always do you say? It's like you have the potential, and you have it, and it's just one of those things where you push. And so I guess that worked for me in some form. And so he would have looked out for me, and like, tell me to get ready for the road and touring and stuff. And so he put my name in a hat to go on the road with this reggae band, Israel Vibration. And so that was kind of in the works. But then Israel Vibration was going to record their album. And so they flew to Jamaica. I was there at the time. And though I wasn't like, the only engineer, I was like over quality control. So
Ah,
these things didn't have names at the time, right? These things
right,
was like,
right.
well, you are gonna be the engineer, so you over that. So you hold a hard drive and you make sure say all the things and all of these things. And so I was that. And then come the end of the album, sorry. So we were at the studio, Tough Gong, a day, and Skelly, um, one of the leaders of the group and founder of the group, um, sat me in the foyer, in the lounge area, and pretty much drilled me. I won't mimic him right now, but pretty much said, "Hey, when we go on the road, we want you to come."
Ah,
Right, and so at the time it was like, oh, okay, because people say things, like, okay, cool, and so he really made good on that promise. So I would have now finished all of my quality control, handing over the hard drives, and I hear I'm mixing the album. So I go, what? So I get to sit down and mix this legendary group album, however many tracks. I think it was like 14 or so. Never mind. So I work with Tyrone Downey, which is one of Bob Marley's closest friend and a keyboard player and arranger for most of Bob Marley and the Wailers. And so Tyrone and I, we really, spent some time together and we did that. So I did the album. Great. That went on. No accolades necessarily on that, but great, some great reviews and stuff. So come time for the second album, they go, hey, things different, times change now. I moved away, and so all that stuff. And so they sent me the files and said, hey, we want you to work on a couple of songs. And so I did that, and arrange a couple, move around some stuff and kind of make it work for the band and thing. And so we did that and never think anything of it. And so I'm driving on the road a day, and one of our band members, Errol Moore, called me and said, congrats. And I was like, on what? It's like band get nominated for Grammy. I was like, okay. So, at the time I wasn't a academy member, and so I wasn't following it up, just
yes,
always
yes.
at that time, Grammys would come around like as a surprise every year, but now that I remember, you kind of know when things are, aligning for that. And so um, I literally pull over at the side of the road, and it was just in awe and in shock, because now this would have been so many years after since I started and this accolade. And we used to joke in the studio and say, we're planning a speech, you bend down, I like to thank God and look up to the balcony and that kind of a vibes. And so this was, so though I never went to that award ceremony, I went later years for other things, because I got considered for my personal projects. Out of Time was considered on to be nominated when
Yes.
that and several other things. So it was just this surreal moment and just this
Yeah.
act of joy and appreciation to be there, because then the Grammys, I'm sure but for your listeners, it's your peers looking at your work and
Yes.
going, this is fit to be nominated, this is fit to be the prize of the best of whatever category that is. And so it's a great feeling. And I think it precedes so many things now that I do. It's like, oh, Grammy, and everybody get all crazy, but then there's so many things, and there's so many awards, and there's so many other layers and so many other things to uncover. But nevertheless, it's something that I am most appreciative for.
Wonderful. And I know you didn't say this, but I have to put it out there. So I'm tooting your own horn for you. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have worked with a variety of musical legends
Yes,
in your over 20 years
yes.
career. So yeah, it's a big deal. Stevie Wonder, the
Oh,
Commodores, India Arie, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame legend Jimmy Cliff,
yeah,
Bonnie Whaler from the original Wailers, and the beloved reggae group Israel Vibration, which you mentioned
yes.
earlier. Just to name a few,
Just
Mr.
to name a
Foley
few. Yeah,
has
top right, listen.
stop right there, so for no. No, what is the role of a technical director? So we did songwriter, audio engineer. What is the role of a technical director?
That's a great question. So a lot of people honestly don't know what that means, and if
Yes.
you put the two words together, you'd be like, all right, you put the two words separately, you kind of know what, but you really don't know what the role is. And so that role is also interchangeable, where in some sector, a technical director is the person that sits in a video booth and technically direct cameras, right?
Okay.
But in the form of live sound or house of worship,
Yes,
it's
yes.
also interchangeable for the person that is the technical director over all the entities. And so what I've been doing over the last decade is I've been over some large house of worship church, some of the largest in the US. um, and I'm over audio, video, lights, and stage or production. And so that means you oversee the audio team, the video team, the lighting team, everything that happens on the stage, and everything that happens that need to make a performance, a concert, a church service, you name it. And so I've been over one of the largest sanctuary I've been over is seats 10,000 people, has 10,000 seats. I had a team of 35 people that is working on my team. And this is all guys and girls just doing audio, video, and lights and making it work. And so
My God.
it's a lot of planning. It's a lot of preparation, a lot of attention to detail. We've seen where I would be in charge of concerts, high level concerts that is streaming via satellite, and so you had to go and make sure say you're there right to the satellite there, and
Yes.
you give them coordinates and things like that, and
My
make
God.
sure things are in tight, and one of those that which I refer is things that would have been like New Year's Eve. So you have to time it because you're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Yes,
and
yes.
thing flap on the bottom, you know.
Wow.
So
That
yeah,
that is
so
absolutely
essentially,
amazing.
yeah, essentially is that. And so a lot of team meetings prior to the thing, definitely for Sundays, production meetings, just going through, making sure everything is in order for technical things to work together.
Wonderful. What would you say is the most challenging part of that, being a technical director?
Being understood that I'm about the end result, and people, we grow up Jamaican, so sometimes I have a little scowl, or sometimes I have a little we not laugh, we just want to get the work done.
Yeah.
And so when I started out several years ago, I would probably be dubbed like passive aggressive.
Oh my.
Because, how can I be passive aggressive? But like you want to get stuff done and people want you to smile and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tough. It's tough rallying around people. It's tough casting vision and people catching that vision that you have inside. Another tough thing is working with older gear and wanting it to do what your mind say you could do, but the gear can't do it.
Yes.
Another tough one is really just making sure that this event or this Sunday happenings happen awesome for everybody. That's kind of tough. So it's really a tough job. It's literally a problem solving job. If you really should come down to it, is you have to constantly think of what could go wrong and find solutions for it before it goes wrong, so that you keep a cool head, so it goes, oh, just do this, do that, and so people like, oh, but not my first rodeo, and so it's just constant up and thinking about what could possibly go wrong and fix it.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to ask this question. I don't know if it's going to be tough or easy for you,
Mhm.
but let's see. Now, out of all the things you do, audio engineer, producer, technical director, singer, songwriter, which one would you say you prefer the most?
Creating. I love creating from scratch. Out of time started with a hi-hat. We never knew where it was gonna go. When I was making the drum track, I never knew where it was gonna go. It just started with the count. And if you notice, there's a clock in it.
Yes.
It counts. So the clock speeds up like time is really running out at
Running
different. This
out.
is really a deep like we could have take a whole show just talking about this, just dissecting or deconstructing this song.
Yes,
It
yes.
really tugs on your heart. There's so many tension in there that kind of pulls on you at every different. So it's this constant pulling you in. And so if you ever get a chance to go stream it, put on a headphone, it would be this amazing, and just close your eyes, you just hear, you'd be in another world. And
Yeah.
so creating would have been like one of the things that I would want to do day in day out, because the process of creation, it's no one thing. It's like you could just get up and just want to be outside today and just hear the birds and just hear like a million planes just pass just now, and just that just trigger, and this bird just keep on this trigger something like, oh, I want a beat that's talking about nature, and so that just takes you in another world than anything else.
That is a great answer. Though I was expecting you to say either audio engineer, choose one of the one that I listed,
Nah,
one of the
creating,
ones, but
creating, like, yeah,
okay, all right,
creating.
great answer. It's kind of like a political answer, yes, in my estimation. Hi, Nadine. Yes, so
Who that, Nadine? Where they? Oh, me I catch them. What you do?
okay, she's good. She's good. No, I'm almost out of time.
Yes,
Yeah. Now, who has influenced you the most on your journey?
influenced me the most.
Yes. Who
How's
did?
this for who has influenced me the most? Samantha Gooden, right over there, sir. Influenced me the most from 20 years ago. She's like, what? So I have a camera and somebody's behind the camera. She's like, what? Yeah, Samantha Gooden
Oh,
would have been influenced um um for over 20 years. Long standing. There's so many other people though, but the most I'd say Samantha. Um she has been like this, not only voice of reason, but this, this tough love kind of a thing. Like when
yes.
the hard things, the hard pills that you need to swallow, when you're sick and the doctor give this big old something, and you have to take it 'cause you have to be better. That's, so I would give you the hat, tip my hat to you, my dear.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
so she would have get it. But then there's so many others. My parents. If we're going to really go all the way back to the inception, my parents, my mother would have driven me to be who I am today. My sister, so many others, but the most and continuous, especially in my creative journey, it would be her.
Awesome. 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 Now, what are some of the things you do for fun, Canute?
Fun. Wow. So I have a hobby. I collect die-cast cars. So it's like miniature replicas of
Oh,
cars.
okay.
And so I do that. I haven't been doing that recently because my cars are like packed up right now. But so I'm looking into getting to a new hobby. What I love to do for fun is just be on the outdoors. I have a little one right now, and so we call her the grass walker. And so she'd just be walking around. And so being on the outdoors, we love the outdoors. We just find parks and anywhere green, anywhere, even if not green, anywhere water, and just be on the outside. So that's one of my favorite things to do.
One of your favorite things to do. Beautiful. Now, tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit more about family life.
Family life. Oh, I'm a new dad.
Oh,
Um,
congratulations to you.
Thank you. And I'm loving it. It's
Sleepless
hard
night?
as ever. It's the hardest thing because you see yourself now.
Yes.
So I'm seeing myself, and so I'm working on me, so it's helping me. And so we are a tight-knit family, and we do a lot of things together. We just do the craziest things. We'll just get up and be like, hey, we want to take a road trip, and we'll just drive several hours down the road
Oh,
and listen to music or just chat, and then come back and regroup, and then just go for it. And so um yeah, it's just a wonderful thing. So much more, but I know we're out of time. So
Yes, almost out of time, and I was eating a few more things. Now, what's your favorite food to eat and or prepare?
so I don't live in the on the island anymore, so
Yes.
it's hard to get some of my favorite foods. Um, and so when we can, or when we can recreate it, it would be wow, it would be, what did I say? Ackee saltfish,
I can't stop.
kalaloo, like the real one. And yeah, we'll just limit to ackee and saltfish.
The real one. I noticed that you said the real one because overseas they have it in the tin.
Yeah.
The tin of
Sometimes we do
this.
the tin thing, but when and so when we can get the actual, somebody cut it, freeze it, carry it up,
Yes,
and
yes,
kind
yes.
of stash it, and we're like, all right, I'm gonna save this for a great time. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. No, I need to wrap up now. But as we wrap, what advice would you give to a young Jamaican who is aspiring to grow in these industries that, you're doing right now?
Be focused. Be focused. Don't listen to naysayers. Don't listen to people that would give you a quick compliment and then tell you can't. Go
Yeah.
for it and do it. Don't listen to, because if I'd listened to people, if I'd listened to what people, with trailblazer, trendsetter, it was hard. And so a lot of people just never get it. Once somebody told me, you were just ahead of your time, and people just never get it, but they'll get it now. So similar to how Out of Time took 10 years to make, and then it took 10 years. Is it 10 years? Yeah, I think it's around 10 years or close to that for people to be like, whoa, this song, where's the song all this time? You just have to keep going.
Awesome. All
What's
right.
your favorite part of Out of Time before you
Oh
go?
my goodness. The fact that I can visualize everything just by
Yeah.
listening to the song, I see everything. I see the people them just saying, "I'm not ready." I hear the glass bottle break and the ambulance. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
it's just
Awesome.
really amazing, and I love the
Yeah.
message behind it.
Yeah.
Come, man, come. I love
Yeah.
it. And on that note, I have to take this comment from this listener, Sister Rere. She said
Yeah,
about
Sister
years.
Rere.
Yes.
I don't know if I pronounce your name properly, but I hear you say you weren't good at nothing at all. You weren't good at it. But I tell you, after you come into your purpose, you walk into your
Hey.
purpose. Worse when you know the Lord, you
Yes.
can do so much because the purpose was there embedded long time, embedded
Yes.
inside.
Yes.
And it just released after a while. Even Jesus didn't start his work until he was 33 years, because his purpose was there, but it take a time to come.
Yeah.
Purpose to come forth in a man, just
Yes.
roll out.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And
That is so
that is true. That is so true, Canute. And also, Granville says, "Big up, Canute." Jackie Douglas says, "Oh my goodness, I am enjoying this interview." So, well, all good things must come to an end. So, again, thank you so much, Canute, for joining me inside of Live Highlights. It was a pleasure having
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for playing the song you played, State Shift. That's the song we really want to get out there. It's talking about just the census killing, and it's a strong song for social change. And then just look out, just follow me on social media for what I'm doing. I just released an album with Adam King, Ready for You, which is now being considered for Grammy nomination.
Oh,
So go check
nice.
that out. Ready for You. Full disclosure, it's not a gospel. You're not going to hear Jesus on there, but you can listen to it. You have a cock your ears, right? And so go listen to that. Ready for You, Adam King, and check that out. Stream it, purchase it, and if you are able to send up some votes, just vote your conscience. Ready for You, Adam King.
Awesome. And what's your social media handle?
Canute Neil Ellis. That's it on all of them. Social media, Facebook, IG, YouTube, all over. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Canute Neil
You're welcome.
Ellis.
Thank you.
We're vouching for you. All the best now. All right, Canute.
Thank you.
All right.
All right,
You're
you
welcome.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Love 101 FM.